Hello students, what is going on? My name is Abdullah Momin from On Target Classes. Welcome back to another video. And in this video, we are going to learn about the verification of laws of vibrating string using sonometer. If this is your first time here and you want to learn physics, especially class 11th and class 12 syllabus in a simple way with some amazing animation and simulation, then subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss anything. In this video, we are going to see the construction and working of the apparatus sonometer, and then by using this apparatus, we are going to verify the three laws of vibrating string which we have already studied in our previous video. And if you didn't watch it yet, first go and watch the previous video, then come back here. So this apparatus which is shown in your screen is called as sonometer. This apparatus you are going to use in your physics lab, and you are going to verify the first and second law of sonometer, first and second law of vibrating string by using this apparatus. So what is sonometer? So sonometer consists of a hollow rectangular box that is called as sound box. The sound box is used to make a larger mass of air vibrate so that the sound produced by this vibrating string gets amplified. The same principle is applied in string instruments such as violin, guitar, tanpura. Now there are two bridges P and Q along the width of the box, which can be moved parallel to the length of the box. These 2-meter bridges, these two bridges P and Q are movable. Now a metal wire of uniform cross section runs along the length of the box over the bridges. This is the metal wire which is fixed at one end, and the other end passes over this pulley. A hanger with suitable slotted weight can be attached to the free end of the wire. Now by changing the weight, the tension in the wire can be varied. The movable bridges P and Q allows us to change the vibrating length AB. If the wire is plugged at a point midway between the bridges, transverse wave produced in the wire, and this transverse wave, after getting reflected from this fixed end from the bridges, it produces a stationary wave. Thus portion AB of the wire between the two bridges P and Q is the vibrating length. Wire can also be made to vibrate by holding a tuning fork near it. If the frequency happens to be one of the natural frequencies of this wire, standing wave with larger amplitude are set up in the wire since the two vibrates in resonance. To identify the resonance, a piece of paper known as the rider, and it is denoted by R here, is placed over the wire at a point in the middle of the length AB. If the frequency of the tuning fork and the fundamental mode of vibration of the wire match, the paper rider happens to be at the antinode, that is the maximum displacement, and it flies off the wire. Now this apparatus sonometer can be used to verify the laws of a vibrating string. Now this is how actual apparatus looks like. There is a wooden box, there is a 2-meter bridges P and Q, a wire passes along the length of this sound box, passes over the pulley, and after that here it is a slotted weight which is added in the hanger. Now let us see one amazing animation to understand the whole construction and working of this apparatus sonometer.
The setup for this experiment is as shown. While performing this experiment in actual lab, ensure that sonometer is kept on flat table. Stretch the wire by placing suitable load on the hanger. Place the paper rider on the middle of wire AB. Select the tuning fork of required frequency. Strike the tuning fork in order to generate the frequency. Move the wedge slowly to get maximum vibration on string. The distance at which when maximum vibration happens is known as resonating length. This rider will fall down at resonating length.
Before moving to the actual topic, let us quickly revise the 3 laws of vibrating string. So we have studied that in case of vibration of a string, the fundamental frequency of vibrating string is n is equal to 1 upon 2L square root of T by M, where n is the fundamental frequency, L is the vibrating length of the wire, T is the tension applied to the string, and M is the linear density. Now the relation between fundamental frequency with L is known as first law of vibrating string. The relation between fundamental frequency N and tension T is known as second law of vibrating string, and the relation between fundamental frequency N and M is known as third law of vibrating string. So let us see the statement of all the 3 laws one by one. So first law of vibrating string is also called as law of length, and it states that the fundamental frequency of vibrating string N is inversely proportional to the length of the vibrating string, that is small l, if tension and mass per unit length are constant. And mathematically we can write N is inversely proportional to L if T and M are constant. Now second law of vibrating string, what we have studied, that is also called as law of tension, and it states that the fundamental frequency of vibrations of a string is directly proportional to the square root of tension if vibrating length and mass per unit length are constant. And mathematically it can be written as N is directly proportional to square root of T if L and M are constant. Now the third law of vibrating string is called as law of linear density, and it states that the fundamental frequency of vibration of a string is inversely proportional to the square root of mass per unit length or linear density if the tension and vibrating length of the string are constant. And mathematically it can be written as N is inversely proportional to square root of M if L and T are constant. If you want to study or if you want to learn these laws in detail, just click on the I button and watch the video. Now verification of first law of vibrating string, that is also called as law of length, and according to the statement of first law, the vibrating fundamental frequency of vibrating string is inversely proportional to L if T and M are constant. So what this means, if we will increase the vibrating length, the fundamental frequency decreases, and if we will increase the frequency, the vibrating length decreases. So this is the meaning of this statement. N is inversely proportional to L, means if L increases, N decreases, and if N increases, L decreases. But you have to keep the other two variable constant, that is T and M. So we are going to modify this equation. After removing the proportionality sign, we will put the constant. So we can write this equation, N is equal to some constant into 1 by L. Now this L is in denominator. When it goes another side of the equal sign, it comes with multiplication with N, and this equation can be written as N into L is equal to constant. Means the product of N and L will always be constant if you will keep T and M constant. So how this work? Let us see one experiment, how we can verify that the product NL is constant. We are going to verify this equation, that is NL is equal to constant. So for verifying this equation, we are going to perform one experiment, and we are going to use 3 frequency. This is the observation table, and we are going to perform the experiment. In the first column, there is a reading of frequency which are measured in hertz. Now in the second column, the second column is of vibrating length, small l, which is in centimeter, and the third column, which is the product of the first and second column, that is N into L. So now first, if we will take the frequency 512 hertz, and after striking this frequency, and when you will put this frequency on the sonometer, on this wooden box, this wire start vibrating at the length of 10 centimeter. So this is the box of frequencies, and we will choose the frequency of 512 hertz. Now after taking the frequency of 512 hertz, we are going to strike this tuning fork on a rubber pad, and we will put this tuning fork on this wooden block. And after adjusting the length, this wire, the wire between these two knife edges, P and Q, start vibrating. And by adjusting, we are going to find out the maximum vibration. And we will say that at this particular length, the wire is vibrating with maximum amplitude, and in order to detect the maximum amplitude or maximum vibration, we have kept the paper rider on it. So after following the paper rider, we will measure the length between these two knife edges, and this length is called as resonating length or vibrating length. And suppose we have taken a frequency of 512 hertz, and 512 hertz gives us the maximum vibration at 10 centimeter. So the distance between these two knife edges, this vibrating length of the wire is of 10 centimeter. So when we have taken a frequency of 512 hertz, we will get the vibrating length 10 centimeter, and after multiplying these two columns, we will get 5120. Now we will decrease the frequency, and by this law, if we will decrease the frequency, the vibrating length increases. So now we have taken a frequency of 426 hertz. Since the frequency has been decreases, the vibrating length will be increases, and now the paper rider is falling at a length of 12 centimeter. or 12.02 centimeter. Now after multiplying these two columns, we are getting 5120.52, which is approximately equal to 5120. And these first for first reading, the product of N1 L1 and the product of N2 L2 is almost equal. Now if we will again decrease the frequency, again the vibrating length will goes on increasing. Now see the third frequency we have taken is of 320 hertz. Since we have decreasing the frequency, the vibrating length will be increasing, and we are getting the maximum vibration of the string at 16 centimeter. And after multiplying these two columns, the product of N and L we are getting is 5120. Since the last column for all the three reading is almost constant or same, so we will say that NL is constant, or N1 L1 is equal to N2 L2 is equal to N3 L3 is equal to constant. The value of last column will not change. If you will decrease the frequency, the vibrating length goes on increasing, but the product of frequency and vibrating length will always be constant. That means N into L is always constant. That is nothing but the first law of vibrating string. So this is how we can verify the first law of vibrating string by using sonometer. Now we are going to verify the second law of vibrating string, that is also called as law of tension, by using the same apparatus, sonometer. So the second law states that fundamental frequency N is directly proportional to the square root of tension if vibrating length L and linear density M are constant. So we are going to further modify this equation. After removing the proportionality sign, we will put the constant, and this equation can be written as N is equal to some constant into square root of T. Now this square root of T is in multiplication with this constant. When this square root of T comes another side of this equal sign, it comes in division with N. And the next step we can write N by square root of T is equal to constant. Means N by square root of T. This ratio, if we will find this ratio, it will always be constant. So in order to understand this, let us see one observation table. So again we have, now in this observation table we have 4 columns. The first column is the frequency, which is in hertz. The second column is tension, which we are going to apply after this pulley, which is hang in the hanger. So by changing the weight in the hanger, we can increase or decrease the tension in the string. And after getting the tension, we will find the square root of this tension, and then we are going to divide, or we are going to find out the ratio of first column and third column. That is, we are going to find out the ratio of N by root T, and this ratio will be always constant. So now first we will take the frequency N1, and here we have to keep L and M constant. If we are supposed to keep L constant, that means we are not going to change the vibrating length. Means the distance between these two edges will not be changed. These two edges will be kept at a constant distance. So what we will change? We will change the frequency and we will change the tension. So for frequency N1 and for tension T1, we are getting the maximum vibration in this string, and after getting the maximum vibration, we will find the root of this tension and we will find out the ratio of N1 and T1. We will note down this ratio N1 divided by root T1. Now in next thing, what we will do, we will decrease the frequency. If we will decrease the frequency, so according to this law, N is directly proportional to square root of T. That means if we will decrease the frequency, the tension will be decreasing. So now we will not change the vibrating length. What we will do, we will change the frequency. We will take the another tuning fork. We will change the tension in the string and we will see the point of maximum vibration for a pair of N2 and T2. Suppose at tension T2 we are getting the maximum vibration. So after getting the maximum vibration, we will find out the square root of tension T2, and now we will find out the ratio of N2 by root T2. Now again, if you will decrease the frequency further, the tension will be decreases, and after getting the maximum vibration at tension T3, we will find out the square root of tension T3 and we will find out the ratio. Now in last column, this ratio N1 by root T1, N2 by root T2 and N3 by root T3 will always be same. So what we will say that the ratio N1 root T1 is equal to N2 by root T2 is equal to N3 by root T3 is always constant, and this is your second law of vibrating string, that is fundamental frequency is directly proportional to square root of tension if vibrating length and linear density are constant. Now verification of third law of vibrating string. So what is the statement of third law? Third law states that the fundamental frequency N is inversely proportional to the square root of linear density if L and T are constant. So we are going to modify this equation. We are going to remove this proportionality sign, and if you will remove this proportionality sign, we will put the constant. Now this square root of linear density goes another side of the equal sign, and we will get N into root M is equal to constant. Now in order to verify this law, again we are going to see this observation table. There are 4 columns in this observation table. First column is of frequency, which is measured in hertz. Second column is linear density, that is mass per unit length. M is the mass of the string and L is the length of the string. So in order to change the linear density, since we are going to change the linear density with frequency, but we have to put L and T constant. So we are not changing the tension which is attached after the pulley. We are not changing the weight in the hanger. We are not changing the length or the distance between 2 knife edges. But what we are changing the frequency, means we will take the different tuning fork, along with we will change the linear density. So how linear density changes? By changing the material of the wire. If we will take the aluminum wire, its linear density will be different. If we will take the copper wire, its linear density will be different from the aluminum wire. And if you will take a steel wire, its linear density will be different from aluminum and copper. So we are going to change the material of the wire. So basically by changing the material of the wire, we can change the linear density. And first we will take the frequency N1 and we will take the copper wire. Copper wire has the linear density M1. We will find the vibrating length L, and again after that we are going to find out the square root of linear density, and we are going to find out the product of first column and third column. We will note down the value of n1 root m1. Now again we will decrease the frequency and we will change the material of the wire by changing the and we will change the linear density of the wire by changing the material of the wire. And at a point you will get a maximum, at a certain point you will get the maximum vibration, and after getting the maximum vibration we will find out the square root of m2. Now we will note down the product n2 root m2. Now in third case we will change the frequency and linear density by changing the material of the wire, and again we will find out the square root of m3 and the product of n3 m3 root m3. And by looking at this observation table, what we will find out? We will find out that the product n1 root m1 is equal to n2 root m2 is equal to n3 root m3 will always be constant. So this is the third law of vibrating string. This is how we can verify the third law, that is also called as law of linear density. Now you can watch the video about laws of vibrating string by clicking on the left side of the screen, or you can pick any video from the right side of your screen, or subscribe to my channel. Thank you student, thank you for watching this video. Catch you soon.